for this wonderful cabin in the woods. And a cabin in the woods is never a good thing, especially in an Osgood Perkins movie.
Osgood Perkins is back with Tatiana Maslany doing another neon horror movie. This is a brand they've got going here. But is Keeper as good as Longlegs or The Monkey? We're going to talk about it. This is a non-spoiler review of Keeper. When I saw Keeper, I thought, like, we're going to have to do a separate live spoiler chat to really talk about what's happening in Keeper. So if you guys want that, let us know. We are pondering that. But for now, this is not going to spoil anything, I hope. So, Alonso, what happens here?
Do I even know this man? Is it his face I see when I close my eyes?
So Keeper stars the wonderful Tatiana Maslany. She is an artist and, dating in the city. And, that sucks. But she seems to have found a guy who is, is a keeper. He's a doctor. He's good to her. And about a year into their relationship, he's taking her off to the country for the weekend for this wonderful cabin in the woods. And a cabin in the woods is never a good thing, especially in an Osgood Perkins movie. And once I get there, shit goes down. And that's all we're going to say about what happens in Keeper. This is, I think that we need to allow filmmakers to do like their bigger movies and then their more intimate ones. And this is very much an intimate little, it's a four-hander basically. We meet the boyfriend. The boyfriend is played by Rossif Sutherland, and his cousin shows up with an Eastern European model he's dating. That's most of the characters right there. Mm-hmm. And it is a small horror movie in terms of it is set inside this cabin. It is about, did I see that or did I not see that? Is this happening or is this not happening? Should I, consume this thing or not, and on that level, I think it works. It kept me guessing. It kept me curious. It kept me nervous about what was happening and who it was happening to and how it was going to happen and whether it was going to happen. It's not nearly as bonkers as something like The Monkey, which is just like constantly, sort of rewriting the rules, it feels like, of the horror comedy and staging these wildly elaborate deaths and having this sort of mordant sense of humor. This is a lot more low key and subtle, but I think it gives Tatiana Maslany a lot to dig into, and she's more than capable of digging into it. Mm-hmm. And I honestly didn't know where this was going to go or how it was going to go for most of it. And I found that riveting. So, depending on what you're expecting out of this movie, I think it delivers.
I didn't know where it was going to go, and I'm still not sure I know where it went once it got there. I had a really good talk walking out of the screening with our friends Tim Grierson and Angie Hahn. We're like, wait a minute. What exactly is happening here? Because there is a big, long explanation as to the mysteries swirling about this cabin. But trying to follow the logic of it, I'm like, okay. And maybe didn't need to know all of that. I think explaining what's happening is to its detriment. Because before then, it is just this hypnotic, like transfixing sensory experience. Yeah. And from a sound design perspective and the score and just the way they use this space, I love the way that Perkins frames Tatiana Maslany in this house. Because so frequently it's like she's in a box and she's far away, or she's only like in part of the frame, or we see her through the woods across the river in the tiny little bathroom window, and we get the sense of her being trapped. Yeah. Although this place is so cool. Like, it's like, the house in Ex Machina, like clearly a villain lair, but I want to live there.
They shoot up into the beautiful rafters of this, I don't know if it's an A-frame, but definitely you get this sense of, on the one hand, space and volume, but also, you're right. There is that sense of claustrophobia. There's only one room in the house where the door locks. There's walls of windows, so you constantly feel sort of exposed. There's this constantly rushing sort of stream outside.
Yeah. But also like there's almost a sense of like the house being an Escher drawing. Like there are stairs that go up and down. You can see things from different platforms. Like we frequently see her from his perspective, like up on a higher landing, like he's looking down on his prey is the suggestion of that kind of camera angle. And all of that is disorienting. This was shot in Canada during the writer's strike. And so the whole cast and crew is all Canadian. Rossif Sutherland is Donald Sutherland's son.
Oh, okay.
And he's the dad in Orphan First Kill.
There you go. Okay,
he's like a huge dude.
I knew him.
Yes. And so that's why they made this, because it's like it's shot outside of Vancouver. Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. Well, is the Writers Guild mad at him now, or?
I don't know. That's a good question. But I know that they did this in Canada, I think, in between other movies. Like it was very much done on the fly. But there is so much craft here as far as putting you in this mood and putting you into her increased confusion as it goes along as to what's real and what's not. And there are these really beautiful transitions and like dissolves. And so she'll be in the tub and the river is rushing outside the tub.
On top of her, yeah.
But then it's like the water, the river like swirls around her while she's in there. And they do that kind of thing over and over again. And it's so effective. And like just the isolation that he indicates for her in the simplest ways and the ways that he frames her, like she'll be sitting around a kitchen table with a bunch of people, but it's like she's the only person there. And so I think that's effective in really simple ways. So I was guessing for a long time as to what is really happening here. There are things that could be flashbacks and could be premonitions. You don't know. And I like all of that. And then once they actually explain what's happening here, it's almost like there's going to be a quiz on it afterward. Like there's this big, long information dump that I did not need. I don't know how you felt about it.
Well, I mean, look, I'm definitely of the school of either don't explain it at all or explain it enough. You know, like that's been my problem with the last couple of, Jordan Peele movies. I'm like, either say less or say much more because I don't know what's going on here. This one, I felt like there was just enough that I could kind of loop together, and it almost sort of made emotional sense, if not rational sense, if that, you know what I'm saying? Like I walked away feeling like, okay, I understand that. But if you asked me to explain it, I'd be like, well, it's just because it's but she and he, because they, so yeah, I don't know that I could articulate it, but I did feel like, okay, this plays out,
Yeah. And no matter what, like Tatiana Maslany is so good in this because she's so frequently like alone in the house or she feels alone in the house. So she's got to hold that frame all by herself and keep us hooked and keep us within her mindset, which is constantly shifting. Like we're along with her in this mystery, and it's very disorienting in ways that are fascinating. And from the very beginning, there's a sense of mystery. There's a really cool montage that opens the film that kind of puts you on edge for the predicament that she is going to find herself in. This apparently, though, is not the feeling of people who've gone to see it because it got a D+ cinema score.
Oh, well, I mean, I think if you're selling this like from the director of, Longlegs and the Monkey, I think that sets an expectation. If you were to say from the director of Gretel and Hansel, or like I Am the Pretty Thing That Lives in the House, maybe, that's a little more the thing. I mean, I think Perkins has proven himself capable of doing all kinds of different stories and creating different kinds of moods. And so, good on him for not feeling like he has to keep doing the same thing over and over again.
Right. But this is more in the vein of Longlegs in terms of like plumbing your subconscious, right? And like showing you really disturbing things that you cannot unsee. So this is more of like a trippy horror movie versus like the crazy thrills of the Monkey. So
for sure.
I enjoyed it though. And I look forward to talking about it further with you if our folks would indeed like a spoiler chat. So I will say a 7.
I am also a 7. Yes, for sure.
All right, cool. Keepers out there, let us know what you think.
Yeah.